I think it is easier to explain what I am trying to put forth in a video. So I've given two examples. In one example, this is a study from India in diabetic patients. So in diabetic clinic in India, in general, we are going to expect the majority of people to be Indians, okay, and less than 1% would be foreigners. So based on this data, if you say that 99%, so because 99% of people in my clinic are Indians, diabetes is more common in Indians, that would be foolish, because this is India, okay. So we need to know the background population. So therefore, this conclusion is false to start with. In example 2, this is a hospital in the UK where 90% are expected, at least 90% expect to be foreigners. Now, if you expect 90% to be foreigners, if there is equal incidence of diabetes in foreigners, I mean in Britishers versus in white people versus Indians, then in diabetic clinic 90% should be white people. But in their study, 50% are Indian. Therefore, the incidence of diabetes in Indians is proportionately much larger because the Indians constitute only 10% of the population. Okay, but 50% of the people in the clinic are Indians in the diabetic clinic. Therefore, the incidence in Indians is much higher than incidence in UK residents, in UK and in native British people. So the second study is likely to be correct. The first study, the results are completely erroneous. And with this background, I'd like to explain why the study published in the NEJM. And therefore, I urge people, please do not go by, the paper where it's published or even the authors who are publishing it. These authors who published this study are actually from PGI Chandigarh. I'm surprised that they publish such rubbish data, and I'm surprised that a reputed journal like NEJM actually published it, because the conclusion, the data is good. The conclusions are totally rubbish, and I'll tell you why. Now, look at the data in the population. First of all, look at the actual data. Among 12,148 healthcare workers, 7,070 received the first dose. That constitutes nearly 60%. Okay. 3,650 received the second dose, and this constitutes nearly 30%. Then they went on to say a total of 5,078 health workers were unvaccinated, which amounts to 41%. 41% of what? The first one is 60%, second one is 29.8%. So where does 41% come from? 60 plus 30 is 90. The remaining is only 10. So this data is flawed to start with. Right, okay, never mind. Since the start of the vaccination program, 506 healthcare workers tested positive for SARS-CoV-2. So basically 506 out of 12,248 tested positive. Okay. So if now this data is totally false, the numbers don't add up, as I've said. So any numbers that we are going to derive here henceforth are meaningless to start with. Anyway, let us go by what they have presented. The vaccination status of healthcare workers who tested positive are shown in figure 1. Okay. So if we go by their own statistics, 41% were unvaccinated. Okay. So if you infect all this population and you presume that the vaccine is not working in general, and you'd expect 60%, because 41% are unvaccinated, of all people who tested positive, if the vaccine is not working, 60% would be vaccinated and 41% would be unvaccinated, right? 58.5% would be vaccinated and 41.5% would be unvaccinated. So if the vaccine, again I'll explain, if the vaccine is not working, let us presume that, and you infect all these 12,248 people, in general, based on the population characteristics, because 48.5% are unvaccinated or vaccinated, and 41.5% are unvaccinated, and 58.5% are vaccinated. If the vaccine is not working, the proportions would still match. Therefore, of the people who are infected, the ratios would still be the same. 48.5 is to 41.5%. Right? Okay. Now, the vaccine, they say, let us presume the vaccine is now working. If the vaccine is working, a significant number of that 61.5% should not actually develop infection. Okay? But if you look at this particular statistics here, the unvaccinated is 63% of the people who are infected. This is what this is showing. The unvaccinated is 63%. Okay. So actual unvaccinated is 41. Of the people who are infected, unvaccinated is 63. Is this statistically significant is what you need to then look at, because it is still a huge number. If the unvaccinated constituted 90% and all the vaccinated people were protected, in general of the people infected, you would expect the vaccinated people to constitute a minority. And look at this graph here again. After first dose, 22% were infected. After second dose, 4.7% were infected. Breakthrough infection presumably means that 4 weeks after the second dose, you have 9.5% infected. Okay, so these still constitute a huge number. So you have to then look at the statistical significance. What you actually need, the actual data, what they should have presented is, if you need to know whether a vaccine is working or not, is to follow these people for a particular length of time. So for example, 7170 received the first dose, 3650 received the second dose. Of the 7170, how many were positive? Out of 3650, how many were positive? Okay, and out of 5078, how many were positive? That is the number you actually need. They haven't presented that. In the discussion, they briefly mentioned it here. So for example, here, they said a total of 72 out of 7650, that is 2% tested positive after the second dose. Okay. Now, after the first dose, they say 2.6% tested positive after the first dose. Now, remember, all these people wouldn't have been exposed to the virus. Okay, so just because only 2.6% tested positive at the time of writing up this paper does not mean that the rest won't become positive later. So the denominator here is not, you've not infected everybody. So of the people who had the first dose, have you infected all of them? No, you haven't infected all of them. To say that 2.6% tested positive does not make any sense unless you have a control group. The control group is the unvaccinated group. And they haven't really told us how many of the unvaccinated actually tested positive. Can you see this? Go through the study again, please. If you look at it properly, so what you have to see if you want to know whether the vaccine is working, you look at number of people vaccinated, number of people unvaccinated. Of the people vaccinated, how many tested positive? Of the people unvaccinated, how many tested positive? They've ignored this major data. They've not told us of the people unvaccinated, how many actually tested positive, though they've said 322 have not been vaccinated here, but they've not actually mentioned it here and they've not discussed it further. So if we divide 322 by divided by 5078, if 5078 is the actual number of people who are unvaccinated, the number comes to around 6%. So 6% of unvaccinated became positive compared to 2% and so on to 2% who are vaccinated. So 6 and 2. Now this may or may not be of statistical significance. I have not calculated this, but this is the data you need to compare. Now this may be statistically significant and this may be worth publishing if 6 and 2 is statistically significant. But they have not discussed this. Instead, they have discussed this rubbish pie chart which does not make any sense at all, and this has no meaning at all without knowing the background data. Thank you and sorry for my bore, but I had to discuss this because I have hatred for false statistics.